UFC 299 is this weekend, this Saturday, and it's the most stacked card of the year so far, arguably the most stacked card over UFC 300. Most stacked card we've had in a long, long time. The only card that comes close to it is UFC 291 from last year. But yeah, I mean, great card, top to bottom, bangers from the start of the card to the end. Obviously, the main event's amazing, co-main, maybe even better. But tons of prospects, tons of vets, pretty much anything you could ask for on the card. A lot of big name guys, big prospects, JDM, Benoit Saint-Denis, those kind of guys. But yeah, let's just get right into it. The first fight I'm going to be going over is Robelis Despain versus Josh Parisian. Now, if you do not know, Robelis Despain is a 6'7" Cuban Olympic bronze medalist in Taekwondo, and he's making his UFC debut. Only had 4 pro fights. The longest he's ever been is 4 minutes and 54 seconds. And he's had 3 back-to-back wins, back-to-back wins. A 12-second KO, a 3-second KO, and then a 4-second KO. So this guy is a monster. One-punch KO power in both hands. High kicks, knees, like you name it. This guy has it, and he'll knock you out cold with it in the first time he lands it. So Parisian, been around, fought, not really fought any big names, but fought a bunch of guys in the UFC. He's had 5-6 UFC fights, been in the UFC for 4 years now. So, he's a bit of a vet when it comes to heavyweight UFC fighters. He's been around, and yeah, he brings experience to the table, wrestling, grappling, but that's about it. And I don't think that he's going to have much of a chance to win this one. I don't think it's going to be long. I don't think it's going to be close. I think he's going to smoke Josh Parisian probably in the first 30 seconds, maybe the first minute. But if this one lasts longer than a minute, that's a mental victory for Josh Parisian. Let's just put it that way. I really don't like his chances of this fight, and I think that he's pretty much bound to get KO'd by Robelis Despain here. But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the next fight. Felipe Lins versus Ion Cutelaba. Now, this fight is one of the more lackluster matchups on the card, one of only a few, because I don't think this fight is lackluster at all. I think this is a great matchup between two talented guys. Ion Cutelaba, kind of a joke for what he did to Magomed Ankalaev, got in his face at the press conference and screamed and then got knocked out cold, twice, first round. But, I mean, he's a good fighter. You look at some of the guys he's beat. He's beat Khalil Rountree first round knockout. That's a great win. That's about it. But he's also got a win over Tanner Boser. Not a great win, but a guy who beat Felipe Lins. Cutelaba's had a good few losses, but the UFC seemed to keep him around because he's entertaining. You know what I mean? He's going to go out. He's the kind of guy where he's going to go out there and finish you, or you're going to finish him. He doesn't really go to decisions. I know he went to a decision with Devin Clark. He went to a decision with nobody. He's only ever... No, he went to... He's been to 3 decisions in the UFC, but almost all of his fights either end in him getting the finish or him getting finished. And I think he's going to find the finish against Felipe Lins here. I think he's going to get a round 2 TKO. I'd say round 2 standing, sort of, not standing TKO, but a round 2 TKO off the feet, maybe an elbow against the clinch like he did to Roundtree, or maybe just a 2-punch combo off the clinch break, just something like that. I think he just has the advantage on the feet over Lins, so I think he's just going to catch him as the fight goes on. Lins is going to get a little tired. That backhand's going to come a little... He's going to be slower to put that backhand up. He's going to be leaving his punches out there a little more. He's going to be looking to clinch, and I think that Cutelaba is going to catch him on the chin and put him away in the second round. Nothing brutal, nothing highlight reel, just Cutelaba is going to stop him with punches or elbows or knees or something in the second round. No, realistically, I think he's going to catch him with a punch. Maybe an elbow like he did to Roundtree, but I think it's just going to be a punch and put him down, finish him on the ground, second round. Win for Ion Cutelaba. Next fight I'm going to be going over is, I believe, Michel Pereira versus Mikhail Olachejczuk. Now, I think that Michel Pereira is in the form of his life right now, moving to, I think he's at middleweight now, right? Yeah, he's at middleweight. He looked massive against Andre Petroski, and Andre Petroski is a big dude. He's not the tallest for middleweight. He's no, Pereira, but he's 5'11", 6 foot. He's tall enough, and he's a big guy. But Michel Pereira is 6'1", looks to be closer to 6'2", well, I think, but maybe you could say 6'1". He's a 6'1", long guy, long arms, long legs, big frame, especially at middleweight. He looks great at middleweight. Big, long, lean frame. Great power in his hands, great speed, great explosivity on the feet. He's known for throwing like wild strikes, spinning strikes, back rolling kicks, especially on when there are his opponents on the ground. He's on he's on a 6-fight win streak. So Andre Petroski himself was on a 5-fight win streak, and Michel Pereira knocked him out in the first round. So I think that Michel Pereira is coming off the best win of his life, I think, against Andre Petroski at first-round knockout. Mikhail Lechechuk is coming off a great win himself over Chidi Njokuani, where he took some damage, rallied. And, other than that, Cody Brundage, first-round knockout. Sam Alvey, like, are you kidding me? Welcome to the club of guys that have beat Cody Brundage and Sam Alvey. Like, that's like welcome. That's the real welcome to the club. Like, those guys are real shitters. So, like, those are not good wins. And, like, Modestas Bukauskas going to a split decision with him. Like, I know, like, he has some good wins, but he also has, like, he has good wins. I won't lie. He does have good wins. Knockout artist. But I just don't think I think Michel Pereira's faster than him on the feet. Has more, like, I don't know if he has more snap behind his punches, because Mikhail Lechechuk does have one-shot KO power in his hands. But I just think that he's a bit more, I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like when Michel Pereira lands that straight right, it's like, if it lands clean, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's like gun, because like there are guys like Andre Fialho who were able to bring him to the decision. Same with Pons. But like, I don't know. I think that what I'm really trying to get at is I feel like if Lechechuk fights him like he did against Chidi and eats all those shots that he did against Chidi, that Michel Pereira is going to finish him in the first round if he's able to land on him like Chidi did, which I think he will be able to do. So my official prediction is going to be Michel Pereira with another first-round KO over, first-round TKO. I don't even know Stone Cold KO him, but first-round TKO. Another first-round TKO over Michel Lechechuk. The next fight on the card that I will be going over is Pedro Munhoz versus Kyler Phillips. Now, I think this is another fight that I'm actually pretty excited for. If you've been following Kyler Phillips, he's been on a bit of a tear. Lost to Raul Paiva, but other than that, beat Song Yadong. Probably his best win is that decision win over Song Yadong. But great grappling. Striking is catching up there. He trains with Sean O'Malley, so he's got the Tim Welsh corner. Sean O'Malley, giving him tips and tricks in the gym. So once his striking gets up to his grappling, he'll be a real force, because his jiu-jitsu is very, very good. Very good offensive jiu-jitsu off the top and the bottom. Striking, like I said, isn't up to scratch in terms of his grappling, but he can hold his own. And I do think that he's going to beat Pedro Munhoz by decision. I think he'll be able to stand with Pedro Munhoz, not beat him up on the feet, but like not touch him up, but be able to stand with him. And I think he'll be able to, when it comes to grappling, I think he'll be able to out-grapple Pedro Munhoz. Not sub him, again, not knock him out, nothing, because Pedro Munhoz is very hard to finish. Very, very durable fighter. So I think that it's just going to be a little bit more on the feet, throwing a little more leg kicks, throwing a little more jabs out. Just overall landing a bit more than maybe getting outstruck in the first round and grappling more. But then really the grappling is where I think he's going to outwork Pedro, have a bit crisper, sharper technique, and just be a little bit better. And I think he's going to edge out a close decision. I think it's going to be maybe 2-1, but I think he will beat Pedro Munhoz by decision here. The only reason why I don't want to pick him is because Pedro's only really lost to truly elite guys in this bantamweight division. Like you look at the guys that Pedro's lost to, it's like, what is it? I'll check right now. The guys that Pedro's lost to, you're talking about Cheeto, Cruz, 2021 Cruz, Aldo, Frankie Edgar, 2020 Frankie Edgar, and then before that Aljo, and then before that John Dodson, and then before that 2014 Asuncao. Like, he really hasn't lost to anybody who's not elite. And so it's kind of hard to pick somebody to beat him, because in order to beat him, you have to be and you have to be elite, like a very good fighter. Like even Chris Gutierrez is a ranked fighter who didn't beat Pedro, got washed by him and dropped and project. So it is going to be hard for me to pick Kyler Phillips, but I really do think Kyler Phillips has the potential to be elite one day, and I think this is going to be a big step up in reaching that potential is going to be beating Pedro Munhoz, which I think he will do by decision. The next fight that I'm going to be talking about is Mateus Gamrot versus Rafael dos Anjos. Now, this is a fight that would have been a lot better a few years ago if RDA was younger. Not even in his prime, just closer to his prime. But if you look at that fight with Vicente Luque, I think that RDA is beginning to lose a step in his game. You know, he's still elite-ish, still RDA, still got great grappling, great striking, great cardio, blah, 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 all of that stuff. But Gamrot has some very, very good wins. Very, very good wins. And I know, the Arman win, I know, controversial, close, but if you watch that fight back, you can give it to either guy. I personally score it for Arman, but I don't disagree with the fact that Gamrot did do enough to win that fight, I think, as well as Arman did. Anyways, that win has aged very well. Arman has gone on to, I forget who he fought after that, but he fought that guy who rocked him. That's who he fought. He fought that Brazilian guy who rocked him. I'm forgetting his name, but it is Joaquim Silva. That's who he fought. He fought Joaquim Silva, and he fought Damir Ismagulov. That was not a close fight. That was a very, very dominant win for Arman, and that win is a good win. You know, Damir Ismagulov, you might not know his name, but he's a legit guy. I think he's retired now, but he wasn't washed or anything. He just retired. Joaquim Silva knocked him out, but that was a scare. And then Beneil Dariush smoked the guy, smoked him in like 1 minute, starched him. Best win of Arman's career by far, and that win over Arman has aged very well for Gamrot, and the win over Jalen Turner has aged very well as well. I know, again, that was a very, very close fight. That one maybe even closer because it was actually a split decision, and one of the judges did give it to Jalen. I believe, was it in the second round when Jalen knocked him down? But Jalen had him hurt multiple times. But again, he uses wrestling and his pace and his pressure to win most of that fight. You know, that's the way that Gamrot fights, is he's going to win most of the fight. And Arman, again, had moments where he hurt Gamrot, but overall, most of the fight, Gamrot was winning with his pace and his pressure and his his pace and his pressure and his wrestling. And I think that he's going to overwhelm RDA here, and I think he's going to just be quicker, better shape. Not that RDA is not in good shape; he's just not in his prime anymore. And just outwork him on the ground and on the feet. I think RDA is going to have success on the feet, but I just think he's going to be too focused on the grappling and the pressure and the wrestling of Gamrot, and I think that Gamrot's going to win a clear UD unanimous decision win here. And that's my official prediction for this one. Gamrot versus RDA. I'm gonna pick Gamrot to win by decision, clear decision. Next fight on the card, Katlyn Chookagian versus Maycee Barber. Again, this fight would have been a bit better if Chookagian was closer to her prime, but she's still ranked in the top 5, I believe, for women's flyweight, so she's still legit. Obviously, she's somewhat of a legend when it comes to women's UFC fighters, I guess you could say. But yeah, I just think that Barber will be too much for her. She's younger, she's faster, she hits harder, she's in the best form of her career on a 5-fight win streak, coming off that great win over Amanda Ribas, knockout win, which is great for a WMMA fighter to get knockouts, especially being wars like that, come out on top. She's on a 5-fight win streak, like I said, compared to Katlyn Chookagian, who's 2-1 in her last 3. Having recently lost to Manon Fiorot, which is not a bad loss whatsoever. But she did lose that fight to Fiorot, so she is. So I just lost my train of thought there. So she is on a 2-1 in her last 3. But yeah, I think Maycee Barber is going to be faster on the feet, have more snap behind her shots. Probably going to be a bit fiercer, stronger in the grappling because she's a bit younger, fresher as a fighter. You know, Katlyn has the slight experience advantage, 23 fights compared to Maycee's 15, but considering Maycee's 10 years younger and in the form of her career, my official prediction is going to be Maycee Barber by 30-27, possibly 29-28. I could see her losing maybe either the first or the third round, depending on how she starts. Either she starts off really well, wins the first 2, and Chookagian kind of edges the third with the old veterans experience, or she comes in kind of cold And Chookagian comes in ready to go. She's a vet. She's a grizzled vet, always going to be ready from the bell ring. Win that first round against Barber, but then Barber's gonna rally and win the second two. But I see Barber winning two out of the three, if not all three rounds in this one, and winning a pretty comfortable decision. Next fight that is on the card is Curtis Blaydes versus Jailton Almeida. Now, I don't think that Jailton Almeida has the clear grappling advantage like he did against the Jairzinho Rozenstruik or against the Derek Lewis, but I think the athleticism and the speed advantage that Jailton Almeida is going to have is going to make up for that. Like, I think that Curtis is a better wrestler overall, but I just don't think he's just too slow, and he's too ploddy, and he's not as explosive and fast as like when Almeida shoots, he's in on your legs and he's pushing you to the cage. He's immediately getting to the next position, whereas Blaydes is like hunching over. Like when Blaydes shoots, he's like hunching over, like he's praying like this, hunches at the hips, like slowly tries to hug your legs, fully like this, looking at the ground, like maybe gets a leg, and then it's like he's old school, like trying to really wrestle you against the cage. Like it takes like 5 minutes for him to even get in on a double leg, it feels like. And Almeida is like, shoots, boom, he's in, and he's immediately pushing you against the cage, or he immediately gets you down, and then he's immediately working to mount, or immediately working to half guard or side control. Like, he's just so fast, so explosive, so athletic. You know, he's clearly gifted athlete, talented grappler, on a tear, you know, on a great tear. Blaydes coming off a first-round knockout loss. I'm going to pick Almeida by second-round sub. I don't think he's going to get the first-round sub. I think Blaydes will be able to survive the first round, but I don't know if he'll be able to do that. I'm going to give Blaydes like that benefit of the doubt that he'll be able to survive the first round just because he's the vet and, you know, he's been around there forever, but I don't see him surviving against Almeida for 3 rounds. I think Almeida is going to out-grapple him pretty comfortably and eventually find the sub. Probably by rear naked choke from mount, if I had to guess. His top pressure is great. He's relentless on the ground. His sub threat's there. Takedowns there. Distance control on the feet is there with that snap kick. And I just think that he's just younger, faster, more explosive, better submission ability than Curtis Blaydes. And I just think that that's a recipe for a loss. You know, I know Curtis Blaydes has only ever lost by first round knockout, only ever lost to power punchers, but has he ever faced a guy like Almeida? Young, hungry, explosive, fast, some great submission threat? I really don't think he has. So I think he's going to win by later sub. Jailton Almeida, round 2 or 3 submission is my official prediction for this one. Next fight I'm going to be talking about is Petr Yan versus Song Yadong. Now, this is a great matchup. Another amazing, one of the best matchups on the card, I think. Sorry. But 2 boxers. You know, they're both strikers, but both boxers first. When it comes to striking, they're both boxers. Yeah, I think Petr Yan's the more experienced. Actually, he's not. He's not the more experienced guy. He only has 21 fights. Song Yadong has 29. But I think he's more high-level experience, championship-level experience. Been in there with Sugar Sean. Been in there with, who's he been in there with? Aljamain Sterling twice. I don't know. I just blanked. Merab, Corey. I know Corey. Corey also fought. What's his name? Song Yadong. But Jose Aldo, Uriah Faber. All these guys are amazing fighters, and Yan's been in there with them and beat most of them. So I think that this is the perfect matchup for Yan to get his feet back under him, find his form again. You know, I think he's been on a bit of a skid, as we all know, but he's been fighting a lot of wrestlers. The Sean fight was just a close fight with a really good striker. Could have gone either way, and it happened to go Sean's. Yeah, I mean, I think that the first round, Song will have a bit of success, you know, because Yan likes to establish his jab and make reads. But I think that it's going to take place on the feet for the most part, and I think that Yan has the ability to mix it up if he wants to, and he should, because he was having a lot of success mixing it up against Sean O'Malley, and after he would mix it up, he would have even more success on the feet because Sean O'Malley was thinking about the takedown as well as the boxing. I think that Song likely has the speed advantage when it comes to straight boxing, like throwing hooks and throwing uppercuts and combinations. His hands are very fast, but Yan has better technique and is more sound defensively, I think. Yan will establish his range, as I said, begin to make reads in the first round, and he's going to set up his offense in the second and begin to really run away with it. And I think he wins a clear decision after outboxing Jan and mixing his wrestling through the second and the third round, about maybe 29-28, possibly 30-27, depending on how good Song looks in the first. His high guard that he used a lot against O'Malley, like the high, like that high tie guard, is going to help him a lot. Stay away from the big, short hooks that Song Yadong's known for. That's kind of like his bread and butter, is when he gets inside and throws a hook body upstairs and then maybe like body shot upstairs, like, like a right hook to the body, left hook, right ups, or right hook upstairs, like that kind of thing. He's very good there, very fast, very explosive. But I think that Jan will be able to deal with him. I think that Jan will be able to land more than he is, put some more damage on him, and put a pace on him that Sean's not going to be as comfortable with. And I think he'll edge this one by decision. Maybe a late TKO, maybe like a round 3 TKO, more of like a cumulative TKO, but I see more of a decision for Jan. Next fight, Burns versus JDM. I think this fight is going to be a lot slower than many expect. I think JDM is going to fight a lot smarter than he has in the past, similar to how he fought against Holland. He's going to look to establish his jab, that probing jab early, get it in Burns' face. We all know Burns doesn't like jabs. I think he'll look to work the body, mix it up, slow Burns down. I think Burns is really going to struggle with the boxing and the speed of JDM, and I think he's going to be looking to land big counter hooks, but I don't think he's going to be able to land clean like he was against Khamzat Chimaev. I think he will have success with the takedown, especially early when they're dry, but I do not think he's going to be able to hold JDM down, because JDM is very active on the ground. He doesn't stay in bad positions, has active hips, and he's always looking to roll out or escape or advance position in terms of him getting into a better position himself. I think the keys for JDM are to cut off the gauge, pop the jab, keep it in Gilbert's face, mix the body, and then whenever Gilbert, stands still, either looking to counter or looking to shoot, start to let his hands go against the fence. I think he's going to look to stuff takedowns and then immediately back Gilbert up and let his hands go fast and hard like he did against Ramazan Emev. If you remember that fight, he would stuff a takedown, and the second that Rahman came up from the takedown attempt, he's immediately letting the hands go, working the body to get inside, and then throwing hooks upstairs. I think that those are going to be the keys to success against against Burns. And I think my official prediction is going to be JDM by decision, possibly a late TKO in round 3. The next fight on the card is Kevin Holland versus Michael Venom Page. I think that Kevin Holland is going to have better boxing, but he's going to struggle with the kicks, especially the low kicks of MVP. I think he should be able to make up for it with the boxing in terms of like striking numbers, but I think that MVP's going to have more wear and tear with the low kicks and eventually be able to throw kicks upstairs that are going to hurt Holland. The grappling advantage, I think Holland will have the grappling advantage, and he may look to use it if he's getting outstruck. I think Holland will be able to hold his own on the feet with MVP. He's been in there with guys like Wonderboy, held his own, even had big moments before, mainly with his boxing that he mixed up with his Taekwondo. And yeah, I mean, MVP, great striker, bit past his prime, never really fought anybody that's that good. So I think that I'm going to pick Holland to win this one, but close decision. I think MVP will have moments, maybe like a knockdown or hurting Holland. But I think that Holland is going to really start to have success with his boxing and land on MVP. Like, we've never really seen anybody who with that good boxing piece MVP yet, but I think we're going to see it from Holland on Saturday. I think he's going to outstrike and win a decision over MVP. Now let's get into the big boys, the main event and the co-main. Let's first talk about Benoit Saint-Denis against Dustin Poirier. Now, this is one of those fights you really just can't wait for as a fight fan, Guaranteed action from the get-go. One of the greats, all-time greats, future Hall of Famer, Dustin Poirier, taking on up-and-coming killer, future champ, probably Benoit Saint-Denis. Now, I think Poirier is going to have the striking advantage, especially the boxing advantage, and I think there's a great value on him as an underdog, especially by KO, TKO, as the fight is 5 rounds. BSD, dangerous guy, powerful, but he's also open and reckless. He's got a good chin, but you got to remember, Dan Hooker's got a good chin, and you can't rely on your chin against Poirier because it's not going to last. Even Gaethje in their first fight. Gaethje's got a great chin, but no matter how good your chin is, if Poirier is going to town on you, you're going to have to get your hands up, or else he's going to stop you. BSD has great grappling, but considering that Poirier, think of the guys that Poirier's been out-grappled by and lost to, because of the grappling. You're thinking of Charles Oliveira, you're thinking of Khabib Nurmagomedov, you're thinking of two of the greatest grapplers in the UFC all time, especially in the lightweight division. Probably the two best, or probably the top three, including Islam, grapplers of all time in the lightweight division. And those two of those guys sub Poirier. And I just don't think that Benoit Saint Denis' grappling is on the level close to Charles Oliveira's or Khabib's. I think an important fight to think about is Benoit Saint Denis' fight with Elizeu dos Santos. He was very reckless in that fight. Many defensive errors, especially in the pocket, especially when coming forward. And I think that that's when Dustin Poirier is going to have a lot of success. When Benoit Saint Denis is walking him down, throwing punches, throwing combos, Poirier is going to be able to slip, land counters, and I think that he's eventually going to be able to get Benoit Saint Denis against the fence when he's a bit tired, a bit worn down, and he's really going to go to town. And I think he's going to finish Benoit Saint Denis in the third round. Brutal TKO win for Dustin Poirier in round 3 is my official prediction for this fight. The next fight I'm going to be going over is Sean O'Malley versus Chito Vera. If you watch their first fight back, you'll see O'Malley was having a ton of success with the feints. Chito was biting a lot on the feints and having a hard time to deal with them. Since Sean got hurt, he didn't really have a chance to throw anything, but it looked like he was about to set up something big and hurt Chito when he did land. His power in both hands and his kicks make it so he has so many different weapons, you don't really know what to expect. Like, for example, teep kicks. He has teep kicks to the body, spinning back kicks to the head, great straight right, great jab, great left hook. He has all of these shots, straight right to the body, all of these shots, and you don't really know what's coming. So when he's throwing out and he's throwing all these feints, you don't really know what is he aiming for the head, is he aiming for the body. All of these shots can hurt you, can finish you. So Sean is constantly throwing these feints while he's moving in and out. You don't know when he's going to stop and throw. You don't know when he's just throwing a feint. You don't know when he's just moving in and out to keep you guessing. You really don't know, and you could tell Chito really did not know in that first fight. He had a lot of success once he did hurt Sean with that leg kick, but I don't think he's going to land that leg kick again and hurt the peroneal nerve. I think that Sean is going, and I think that he's going to throw feints and chip away at Chito while Chito sits back like he usually does and tries to make reads. And I think if Chito decides to go for it and push for a finish, then I think Sean will counter him and hurt him and eventually put him away. But if Chito fights like he did against Sandhagen, I think that Sean will be able to outpoint him and comfortably win a decision over 5 rounds. So those are my official picks and predictions for UFC 299. Sorry guys, my throat's a little bit still bothering me from when I was sick, but I might have another video for you guys tomorrow. If not, I will definitely have another video for you guys on Sunday after the card takes place, and expect more and more videos every week as I get back into the swing of making videos, creating content, and uploading stuff for you guys. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments which picks you agree with, which picks you don't, who's going to win, how. I love to hear what you guys think. Make sure you leave a like as well and subscribe. But I really want to hear your guys' opinions in the comments. I like when you guys leave your comments and you say, oh, I don't agree with your pick, or great idea on this pick. Whatever it is, leave it in the comments and I'll reply to your comment and we can discuss it in the comment section below. But I'll see you guys in the next one.